What is up? It's been a while. I know. Sometimes you just gotta do things to make life work. Been busy with work, busy with lots of other stuff. That's not why I'm here. I'm doing something kind of crazy because of my lack of videos in the past 2 months. What I'm gonna do for the next 12 days, I'm making a video and posting the video every day for the next 12 days. I don't know why. I think it's just something that I want to do. I think I just want to see if I can, quote unquote, post daily. The effort that it takes and really gauge that and see how I, kind of finish at the end of the day. And after a long day of work, what kind of content I can create. And, if the creative juices are still flowing in my brain. And I think that's really important to kind of figure out what I want to do, with this. The next 12 days, starting today, starting with this video right here, you will see a video from me. Now it'll be a video like this, where it's a talking head, I'm just talking to a camera. It might be a bait review, a gear review, something like that. It might be one of the videos that I just didn't get around to this year. I have a couple pack videos coming out. There's gonna be at least 1 or 2 of those sprinkled in this mix. So I think there's a lot of benefit for me here, learning about what I want and what I want to do. And there's benefit for you guys too on, watching my junk. It's been super busy, at the office, in life. A little bit of personal travel and not fishing related stuff, so it's been a good refresher. And that's why I want to kind of get back into the swing of things and start 2019 off with this kind of 12 days of vlogs or Vlogmas or something. Yeah, 12 days of Vlogmas. We'll make it work. 12 days of Vlogmas, because I want a daily vlog for the next 12 days. And tonight we're gonna do kind of like a review, but there were 2 combos this year that I always found myself thinking about using or using. So I always found them in my hands during a tournament or fun fishing. I always found these 2 kind of reliable for me this year. So I'm going to go over the rod and the reel and some of the techniques I used with those rods and reels to help me be successful and catch fish. And I want to do this because I think it's a good thing for me to look back on and see what techniques I really used this year and kind of force my way into other techniques to get to be a better angler. And this is a good way to start doing that. And plus, on the flip side of that, it's something that some people out there are curious about. Questions that I've gotten before: what's your go-to rod? What are you always throwing? So this will be a little insight into that as well. So whether I was on the boat or the kayak, these 2 setups always made their way there, and they always found their way in my hands at some point throughout the day. We'll go spinning first. The spinning combo I always picked up, and usually it had a drop shot on it. Sometimes it had an Ed rig, sometimes it had a wacky worm. But up here in Pennsylvania, southeastern PA especially, it requires a lot of finesse fishing. It requires a smaller and slower presentation in a lot of lakes because they're just so highly pressured, and the summers get really hot here. So there's 2 reasons why I pick up a fairy wand, and I actually love finesse fishing. So this is one of my go-to finesse setups. It is a Dobbins Fury series. It's the FR703SF. So this is the 7-foot 1-piece, 8 to 17 pound, medium fast. And I went with the medium because I tend to throw a heavier weight on the drop shot. It's kind of weird, but I stick to that 1/2 ounce to 1 ounce range on a drop shot weight. And not because of casting distance or anything like that. I want my bait to get down to the bottom of where I'm fishing as fast as possible. And sometimes obviously you have to lighten that up, and don't worry, I'll go down to an 1/8 ounce if I have to. I'll go down to a 1/16 if I have to. But most of the time I start at those heavier weights. And that's just a personal preference. It helps me fish faster with a finesse setup, and it helps me feel the bottom. It really hugs the bottom better for me and that's why I went with a little bit of a heavier rod. That's why this is a medium. You know, and same thing with, you know, Uncle Ned. If I'm throwing an Uncle Ned, I'm throwing the heaviest head possible, because I want that bait to get down to the bottom, because that's where it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be on the bottom. You know, obviously, if you get hit on the way down, maybe you lighten it up. That way it's a slower fall. But, you know, it'll tell you. Something in the environment will tell you what you need to be doing with that bait. I have it paired up with a Shimano Stratix CI4 Plus. It's the model from like 2-3 years ago. It's not the newest model, but you know, it's still one of the best spinning reels I've ever bought and ever used. I love this thing. It's a 2500 size. I have a 10-pound braid on it right now, and I have it paired up with a, what kind of leader do I have? I think this is Sunline Sniper on here right now. I think this is 12-pound leader, 10-pound leader on here. But most of the time I have, most of the time I use Gamma Touch in the 7.5 pound or 7-pound, whatever it is. I'm just out of that right now. So I ran out on tournament day, and I went with my other leader material, which is 10-pound Sunline Sniper. And yeah, so normally I have Gamma Touch on there. This is 10-pound Seaguar Kansan. They had a ridiculous deal at Dick's. I think it was like $10 a spool. So I was like, yeah, we're gonna do that. So there's a 10-pound braid to a 10-pound fluoro leader. I think your leader is just as important as your main line. So finding a quality leader and not using, you know, something cheap is truly beneficial to helping you tie better knots and secure more bites. So I think that's big too. Most of the time the hook I used was either a VMC spin shot, or I went with a Gamakatsu finesse drop hook, which is also just like the spin shot. I like the spin shot style because instead of having to tie, you know, a Palomar knot with a huge tag end and having to worry about the length of the tag end, I can change my leader of the hook to the weight very quickly with that second, you know, kind of split hole on the bottom. And I think that's really beneficial too. So, you know, places like Lake Erie, sometimes you really have to vary that length depending on the areas that you're fishing and where the fish are sitting in the water column. And I think being able to do that quickly really helps. So that's why I go with a hook of that style. The spin shots aren't my favorite, but they're the cheapest, and you know, they get the job done. I caught a ton of fish on them this year. So yeah, there's my Dobbins Fury series paired with my Shimano Stratix CI4, the 2500 size. That's my kind of finesse drop shot combo go-to. I had this in my hand a lot. You know, if you watch my Erie's videos, this was the only rod I used. I didn't throw anything else. I threw topwater for a little bit and got one smallie on it, but this was it. This was the rod that caught me on my fish. So yeah, that's my fairy wand that I always go and pick up. All right, so as far as casting combos go, there were really two that I had in my hands quite a bit, but you know, when I came down to it, there was one that I found more use with and more time on the water with. Now, the rod in my hand right here is a favorite Big Sexy, and I know you're laughing because I'm a big guy and that's why I bought the rod. Yes, I bought this rod because I am a Big Sexy and this rod just spoke to me. It's a beautiful rod, to be completely honest. The construction is great, and I really like it. Every component on here doesn't feel cheap, and it's not a cheap rod at all. I think it's a $250 rod normally. I don't even know. I'll put it like right here somewhere what the actual retail is. Ding! So yeah, the actual retail is not cheap on this rod, and you can tell the construction, like I said, is fantastic. The guides are great. They're smooth. Even the epoxy around the guides seems really well done. I really like this carbon fiber type handle with the red woven in there. It's really kind of sexy. It is a Big Sexy. Now this grip is huge, and I think that's why they call it a Big Sexy. Plus the weight of this rod, you know, it's light for its size, but I'm saying like the power behind it is big. So I think that's where they get the name Big Sexy from. Really comfortable in the hands. I wish the butt stock was a little bit shorter. You know, in the kayak sometimes you're slamming it on the gunnel, and I'm worried about that. But you know, I really like the power that you get behind that giant. Like it's the entire length of my forearm to my elbow. So when you're setting the hook on something and you're doing it one-handed, you have that extra lever, and I love that because you know, you're in a kayak, so you don't know what kind of position you're going to be in. If you're setting it up to the side, that helps you. I have it paired with a Shimano Corrado. This is a 200 size. This is the it's the 6:3 to 1 gear ratio, so it's not the fastest reel. And normally I stick with fast reels, but this was like perfect for what I did everything. This was my all-purpose rod. I did everything. There was days I threw a chatterbait on this. There was days I punched with it. I know some people will complain that like, oh, that's not a high speed enough reel. You know, like when we're punching, it's not like a grass mat like down south. You know, I'm punching into a hole in lily pads. So being able to pull a fish out, you know, quickly wasn't really that bad because I had the extra power of this giant rod. Let's get back to the rod. It is a 7.4 medium heavy. And it's a 3/8 to 3/4 ounce. I personally think it's a little bit more than that. Because this is such a stiff rod. It's one of those types of rods that's super stiff and has a soft tip, so you can feel every single tick, and I love that about this rod. Super sensitive, and it's actually really light for the size, especially paired up with this Corrado. Like I said, this was truly an all-purpose rod. I flipped, I pitched, I threw a jig, I threw a chatterbait on this, I threw a spinnerbait on this. If this is what I had with me, I tied something on this, unless it was a square bill or something like that. That went straight onto my crankbait rod. But I tried to use this year as much as possible. And I caught a ton of fish on it. I caught redfish on it. I caught bass on it. So it's super versatile and super strong and durable, it seems. So to be honest, I think I might pick up another one, maybe in a lighter option, maybe a medium. But yeah, I really like this Favorite Big Sexy, and paired up with this Corrado makes this a pretty BA combo in my opinion. So yeah, that's combo number 2 of the 2 rods and reels that I found constantly in my hand. There's day 1 of the 12 days of Vlogmas. I think that works. It flows nicely out of the mouth, and plus the bonus content of me showing you the 2 rods I always picked up and I always used and probably caught the most fish on this year. So yeah, thanks for watching, thanks for stopping by. There's gonna be another video tomorrow, so just come back, watch them all, and tell your friends, tell your mom, tell your dad, tell your brother, tell your sister, tell Santa. Anyways, I will see you guys tomorrow in the next vid. I don't know what it's going to be yet. I haven't planned any of this other than that I want to do it. So I think what I'm going to do after this is plan out my next 11 videos and kind of see where I want to take things and how I want to do this. But thanks for watching this one. And yeah, like I said, subscribe, like, comment, don't dislike. Give me a bad comment. I don't care. You came to the video and watched that. I don't care if you leave a bad comment, whatever. Anyways, yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.